Okay, what I have here is a general guide for optimal off-season speed and conditioning guidelines for lifting, running, and sprinting sports such as hockey, football, soccer, and basketball. Okay, and these are the guidelines I've used to get optimal performance based upon your desired goals. So, with running and conditioning, has it's the two objectives that you basically want to um, take care of when you're running and doing conditioning. The first one obviously is speed development is your number one objective. Okay, and then the other one would be conditioning. Now, I basically build this off as when is optimal because we know you can't get faster if you're tired. Now, with acceleration, when I label that here, this is the what I'd call speed development. There's basically three methods or three concepts. The acceleration, which you're basically doing a 10, 20 yard start. You have the top end speed phase, where you are doing your very highest level of sprinting. And then the third part would be change of directions, basically agility drills. And then the second part of the two objectives that you have is conditioning. You can do running, you can push sleds, you can even bike, but I'm going to show you how to structure it and make sure it's that you get optimal results. Okay, so the basic structure for a workout, you basically do your warm up. I use RPR a lot, along with a little bit of dynamic um, warm up methods. Then I basically go after my warm up, go into the speed development, 4 to 6 reps, okay, because that's what's optimal. Anything after that, there's not much more speed development taking place. Lifting program, we basically do 16 to 50 sets, depends on the level of athlete, okay. We'll do it after one rep of 10, 20s, maybe it's pro agilities, but when I'll say, then we'll go in and maybe we back squat 3 sets or repetitions, that's one set. Then after that, you would do 8 to 20 sets, depending, all these depend on each other and how much you're doing. Really, the speed development stays about the same. Lifting program depends on the person, and then conditioning is how much you've done and your athletes, their level of fitness. So here's why I took this from our speed and skill optimization article. But you do your warm up, and this is the whole structure and time frame of a workout. Then you have your window to get fast and speed development. Now remember, you have those three basic options to do that, and there's many variables off those, okay? But this is the window to get fast. Then you would come in and you would do your lifting in this time frame, and then you would do your conditioning at the end when you're optimal, because you can see fatigue peaks up here and your speed performance basically drops off, so you don't want to add those together. I know many teams that add that together, and people say, well, you run twice. Yes, I do run twice because I want to get optimal results. The first part of the program after the warm-up, we'll run for speed and performance development. Then we do our lifting, and then we do our conditioning if you actually need to condition in the off season. I don't always condition. I'll show you what I do, but that's what I'll plan on. So for speed development, again, you have acceleration, short sprints, you have top end speed, and then you have change of direction. Top end speed can be stuff as flying 90s and so forth. Agility drill is just any agility. Now, here are the guidelines. So after you've done your warm up, I usually pick 3 5-second or 8-second intervals for my speed development. Any three of these might be. I can even do one at different times, but I usually try to stay with the same one. When I say different times, I can do this one, the next set I can do this one, I can go back and forth, but I usually do basically the same thing for that day. Now, and I do acceleration. When I say that, if it's a 3-second, 5-second, 7-second, you get out of acceleration. But here's my guidelines. So I'll go 3 seconds. Maybe today I'll do 8 to 12 reps. I got 50 to 75 seconds total. 50 if my kids are really in shape. I'll use a little bit more if they're not in shape yet. 75 seconds gives me optimal time. Why this much time as you move down the chart? Because that's what it takes for them to recover and repeat the effort. Okay. Now, many people say, how often do you run? I run 5 days a week in my 5-day programs. I run every day. People say, oh, you can't, some world-class speed coaches say, oh, you can't run max effort every day. Well, I've done it for decade and a half, and it doesn't burn my kids out because my college athletes aren't on drugs like world-class sprinters, and their nervous system can get burned out. I 100% agree with them, but I'm not dealing with those type of athletes. I'm dealing with college level, elite level athletes, but they can reproduce effort, such as 8 to 12 reps every day. I usually roughly get about 6 reps in, usually, to be honest with you, and that's my guidelines. Okay, so this is before the workout. Now, um, what happens is you'll actually see there's a lot of time in between your sets. So I actually have my athletes do other drills. So when I say that, I do something I came up with. Now, there's about a 10-minute video on YouTube about triphasic training super method neural perplexity. And just to give you a brief rundown of what it is, I will show you right here. And basically, it's a ladder drill that the athlete will go, and they'll notice he's going through doing an Icky shuffle. He's moving a ball around his waist, and he's also doing math problems. And basically what he's doing is I'll yell out a number, he subtracts 2 or 3 or adds 2 or 3 based upon the day, and he just completes that drill basically like this, fairly quick. So they've done their first sprint, and then to kill time, I shouldn't say kill time because it's pretty important, they'll do a neural perplexity drill. Then they might do even a speed development drill, whether you want to do some basic marches. That's not real taxing, but that's what they're doing in between this rest period right here, while they're waiting to rest to complete the drills. Now, breathing's important. I talk about that in another video I'll link. But understand, they do their sprint, they do the neural perplexity, they do their speed development, then they go back. By that time, the rest period's over, and they do another sprint. Now, basically, your agility drills for speed development, here's a list of things I put together. You can do agility drills, you can do flying 20s, you can do starts for 20 to 30 yards, you can push or pull a sled very fast. Power development for linemen with heavy sleds. So linemen, maybe a football team, you're pulling sleds, you're doing agility drills with some people. Your linemen might be doing heavier sled pulls or pushes. You can do contrasting. You can pull a sled or a parachute. Then you can sprint fast. You can do stadium steps. You can do uphill running. You could even do biking if you want, if that's what you had to do that day for an injured person. But this is pre-workout. These are the reps and sets that you know already. Now, you do your lifting, as we talked about, after you've done your workout. Now you have your post-workout. And basically, you can do the same things. Yes, you can do agility drill for conditioning. You have to be organized and set up. But here's the rest periods. Notice the rest periods have changed. Okay? The rest periods for the post-workout conditioning have changed. The repetitions usually have changed. I'll basically show you this example. You have 3 seconds. This was the pre-workout in this area, and here's the post-workout. So you can see really the big difference is that the repetitions for recovery are key. Up here, recovery is important because you need to get fast again. Down here, recovery is not as important because you're trying to condition the heart and the vascular system. So there's basically the difference. Here's some methods you can look at. Whatever it may be. Like I said, linemen can push sleds, depend upon your weaknesses. So basically what I'll do to pick out whether I want to do agility drill starts or whatever is I assess the weaknesses of the athlete and make them the strong point. Now, again, here's the basic structure. I do my warm-up, I do my speed development, basically 4 to 6 reps in most cases. Usually you can go as high as 8 or 10 if you're doing 3 seconds. And I cover in another video why I do 3 seconds. Then you do your lifting program, and then I do the conditioning right here, that many sets, and I follow these guidelines, okay? So then in the triphasic model, I start doing running. You would basically could start doing running anywhere in this zone, pre-running. I don't do much conditioning through these phases because, again, I'm so far away from um, camp at that point, sometimes 24 to 28 weeks out. Now, here's a hack. This is if you YouTube this, you want to fully understand this. This is if you YouTube triphasic training cycle duration hack, you can watch that video where I talk about this template. But this is a full training cycle. I do more conditioning towards the end. Okay, if you want to compress your training cycle, conditioning will be done around here. But I usually always run at some level, um, probably about 4 weeks a year that I don't run. Okay, now other videos to watch for this to understand what my thinking is: my triphasic training, bioenergetics integration, dynamic methods, the triphasic training aerobic system concepts, and if you Google speed and skill optimization, is an article that I wrote that really gives you a full understanding of everything that I just covered.